Colleen? Excuse me. Is your microphone on?
I don't think it's on. It's on. There you go.
Everybody hears me loud and clear. Have it.
Thank you.
Pretty big mouth. The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda, public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to start the meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our brave men and women fighting all over the world for democracy and freedom, especially those in harm's way. Also for our men and women in blue, and also for the passing of Jerry Starpoli. He will dearly be missed in this community. Great guy, just an awesome gentleman. Thank you. And a great sign maker. A lot of things. Okay. First of all, I'd like a motion to close the public hearing on local law of the town of Marlborough, Ulster County, New York, to amend provisions on Chapter 155 zoning related to signs. We had it open for about 2-3 weeks, 2-3 meetings now.
I make the motion to close the public hearing. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Motion to approve the agenda. I'd like to just add one thing to the report. We have a budget letter from our budget director, first quarter, so I'd like to read that to everybody. So if we could add that into the report of departments and boards. So I'd like a motion on that, to amend the agenda to add that.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve minutes from the April 24, 2017 Town Board meeting.
Yes.
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Authorized payment of bills, $126,536.43.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Way to go. Okay, Vinnie Manisi is not able to make a presentation on the TownVac building. He'll be here hopefully in a couple weeks. So next would be John Beham on the LWRP presentation. Thank you, John.
Yeah. Yes. I want you on camera, John.
Is your mic on? Yes, on. Yes, on. Get checked. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. Let's see. So I have a kind of an overview on the LWRP, the progress we've made, and the comprehensive plan. And so what I have tonight, I'm going to cover some of the proposed projects that are in the waterfront plan. And also in terms of the comprehensive plan, we're going to kind of provide an overview of the land use character areas in the comprehensive plan and design guidelines, some recommendations toward design guidelines, and then the next steps. Okay, and I provide a copy of the schedule where we are and what's next as well. All right. See. Okay. See, on standby.
You gotta love it, technology, huh, John?
Yeah, I know. It's unreal. Just trying to connect here. All right, there we go. All right, back in action. All right.
Probably not.
Yep, you're gonna do this way. Okay. So, in terms of the LWRP, I'll just kind of go over this, but these are there's 8 main sections in the program, okay? And this shows kind of where we are with the sections that are complete. Everything is almost complete, and a couple things are still in progress, okay? The vision statement goals, the boundary area has been done, the inventory and analysis, all that work, and the committee has been great to work with. Thank you for appointing a great committee. Issues and opportunities, local policies and state policies, proposed land and water uses and projects have been done. Techniques for local implementation, that's in progress. And that's pretty simple, really. That's mainly going to be a consistency law for the town, so that you'll be making this, when planning board makes approvals, or if you make a zone change, you would just have to make sure that it's consistent with the waterfront program, which it would be. I don't know what's with this here. Keeps not wanting to connect. So federal and state actions likely to affect implementation. This is like the long laundry list of things. For example, an Army Corps permit would be needed, for certain actions like rebuilding the pier, right? And you're aware of these things. These aren't new to the town, because you have to do this all the time in your business, right?
John,
It's not happy?
the devil is there, yeah.
All right. All right. You think I'm too far from the thing?
Probably too far.
Yeah, I think it might be.
If you stand in front of the table, you'll still be on camera.
You can stand, go by the table.
Go by the table, you'll be fine. You'll be next to your...
It's all right.
Yeah, so
As long as you're speaking to Mike.
Once you speak in a mic, you're good. We already saw your face.
wire it up.
Hardwire. I didn't watch it.
I was asleep. An 8 o'clock game too. I guess Cubs have to be on the West Coast. This was the length of 2 telephones. Goes from the
Are you praying, John?
property.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's great. That's right.
600 feet.
So, proposed state water uses and projects. So these are mainly the kind of revitalization projects we've been talking about as we had various meetings. So this is new. One is establishing gateways on Route 9W. These pictures are really not meant to be, this is the gateway for Marlborough, but just show these are unique, obviously, designs that fit your town. Okay, so these are 2 different examples of 2 different towns, how they've done to, one is on State Highway, that's on Route 9 on the left, and one is off the State Highway. And we don't think necessarily anything necessarily like this, but, building on agricultural themes or other things that fit the town. Okay. And, I'll show you the 2 proposed main gateway areas would be, coming into Marlborough, on 9W from the town of Newburgh, a location, at this spot. Again, this is just a locational aspect, would be something that you guys would put together and design. I think it's mainly thought to be kind of a town volunteer type of activity, create a gateway. I think that's South Road coming in on the right, is that the name of the road? Yeah.
Old Post
Mill
Road.
Turpin?
That's Old Post
Old
Road.
Post Road and South Street coming down.
That's an old picture of those motors.
That, right here,
Christ Church.
at the 4 corners. And probably different treatment
all the time. I do it all the time, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an old picture. That building, that's 3 years old. That's 3 years old at least.
I have to admit, I cheated. That's a Google Earth picture. I didn't have a good one.
It's totally different now. That's the original.
So this will be coordinated with the 9W study that's going on with DOT and Ocean County. So just again, here's some other ideas. Create your own theme, your own identity. Here, here's just a couple examples. One that highlights a little more form with lighting and banners, a little more formal. One is just simply a landscape treatment.
Is that where the old dump was?
Yeah.
Okay, check it out. That was a landfill for a lot of years. Who knows what's under there? Yeah, okay.
Well, there'll be some limitations of what you do on top.
Good luck with that.
That's a great shot. That's, Matt Kierstead took that shot in the spring.
Yep.
Or falls. And there's some of the old mill roads. So there's a great story too of the town. Part of it was the interpretive trail system, interpretation of the history of the town and how it settled and the relevant histories that were there. So it's a real, I think it's going to be a real great place for folks who live in town and people coming in as well. And that kind of town has two economic development aspects of the plan. And we're really reinforcing what you've been working on, which is reestablishing the hamlets as commercial centers of the town. And then working with the habit committees to continue to increase marketing and programming. And also the group, Marlborough has been a great advocate in supporting their efforts because they've got some bigger kind of plans to help brand their initiatives. So this doesn't have to be a town doing all this. In fact, there'll be a lot of partnerships. And then continue to work with investors that are looking to develop in the town. Unfortunately, you've had a lot of folks that have been doing this work, a lot of entrepreneurs. But there may be some, I think part of it is getting out ahead of those issues and providing things in areas that you want to develop. For example, where you need some sewers extended or some sewer capacities to get out in front of that. Let's see this one. So, as part of the economic development is, did that go forward?
Yeah, it's a circle.
Oh, it did, okay, it's going forward. Here's some of the areas for economic development. Both the northern one near, from here north, as you all know, there's very few areas that are relatively flat in town that have access to the highway and access to utilities. And this area is, the Milton area has a lot of potential to look at creating kind of a bigger, what's the next stage of land use in the area for economic development. We know there's some sewer needs there, which would be important. I think you all need to know that as well. But this is kind of reinforcing that. And also the idea of free tax space is by keeping this development in areas where you've got space that's already developed, that's kind of compact, getting the dollars per square foot out of that property. You don't have to necessarily do what other towns have done is run commercial up and down the entire 9W to get value. Now that you've got some provisions to do that, and you can What's nice about these kind of lots is they're, being narrow lots, you can fit, well, you know, a lot of houses on that street. Here's some opportunity, here's a property that's, vacant right now. So there's opportunities for infill development here. I guess it's, you know, here's some kinds of patterns of homes that can be built, smaller homes, townhomes, you know, ones with 2 families that would fit in really nicely. What's nice, I think, in terms of livability is you can walk to this coffee shop, right? You know, it's, middle school's right there, this, you know, up in Marlborough. And that would be a big plus. And they have centers, you know, we're not, you know, we're looking at, these areas, in Milton, Marlborough. You know, these are also places that have more growth, in terms of, there's some spots that are not fully developed, there's some, you see it happening here, right, in Milton, some good stuff happening here with infill development, opportunities for this to, expand slightly without, you know, overwhelming the neighborhoods. And then keep that sense of place though, so that, you know, I think part of the zoning is to be flexible in parking and other standards, so you get away from that idea of building and surrounded by a sea of pavement for the parking. These are some, you'll see some really nice photos provided by Vivid Photography. You know, these are poster shots, right? Of what you know, how nice, you know, the nice the developments are. This kind of character is wonderful. This kind of seems to be glorious. Out along 9W, there's 3 areas of enterprise zones. These are the, you know, these allowable commercial industrial uses. We're suggesting a business park type of thought, taking advantage of location, minimizing curb cuts. We'll be creating interconnected driveways, so you don't have to go back on 9W to go through properties. So here's the three main ones. This is North Building. This is around Marlborough. This is down in south near the town of Newburgh. In the northern enterprise zone, here, South Tech and all that whole area, it's a fairly large area. If you, I'm sorry. In terms of this, if you look at that, the amount of building square footage is very low compared to how much land is in there. Okay? And so you could, without even, you know, you could increase by 50% or maybe even double the square footage of buildings in there without consuming any more land, you know, outside of this zone. And some higher, some other uses, higher values. It does, right now it doesn't present like it's a, you know, kind of a business, in the sense like a business park or business district that it could be. That'd be something that could be, you know, continue to develop over the next several years. And perhaps some type of, you know, interconnectivity between these.
Copart.
Copart, yeah, Copart here, this is the Tilcon property, this zoning extends up in here into the old gravel pit, the wastewater treatment plant. So these areas, these are opportunities to connect with the Hudson River through development. So like the Copart place, if that were to move out, I mean, that'd be a great spot to have kind of Riverview offices or something like that, you know, or some other type of, even an industrial use, light industrial use in there. You could always put residential, but I would not recommend that because this is a job, economic generator spots, these are hard to find. And it's something one just be kind of land grant for many years, but looking at creating the green space there. On Dock Road in Marlborough, you've got the yacht club and the marina here, which there's a lot of use right now for boat storage, which is a use that doesn't have to be here, and it's efficient for here, but if there's other uses, this could become an opportunity, this could be for some type of residential development, that's the
Dockside.
dockside, right? So this, I mean, with the water here, the river views, you know, you can see, restaurant down here, you know, with, overlooking the river, tied to the new residential development, and then tied up with the walkway, tied up the Hamlet Center, you know, could really feel like a river town. Yeah. And here's, the Copart, property, indicate some of the details, working out the details, but it was not a, it wasn't big, you know, it's an easier way to do it, you know. And the Hamlet Center, you know, I think, again, some guidance so folks understand how to fit into this. It's a different area, you know, how to fit in here. You know, folks may not know what is expected, you know, same type of thing, you know. So, and then I think looking ahead there, where you know, how you want to accommodate on-street parking or not, you know, sidewalks or not, street, you know, how to, you know, again, bring these things out, you know, ahead of time. And out on the highway and enterprise area, same thing. It's coming up again with some design guidelines that would fit, dealing with access management, shared parking or interconnected parking, I should say. It doesn't have to be shared as long as you can connect to it. But if folks agree to shared parking, you could reduce the parking requirements. You know, a lot of uses have very different peak hours of parking. You know, an office building, for example, has a 9 to 5 peak. You know, a residential building has the opposite peak of parking. You know, and so there's opportunity to do shared parking, screening, again, berms or not, shrubberies, trees, plantings, stone walls is a great theme, I think, for the town. And here's just some examples of some different, you know, kind of commercial uses in highway districts. So setting something up for Marlborough that sets a pattern for what will work in the town. We know there's not a lot of space, though, private space off the right of way, so it has to be very thought through to what will fit, you know, without causing a lot of impact for properties. But some small things, like this little fence and a little space, I think the town's been doing some of the sidewalk work along 9W, you know, connecting out, which is great. And where you got it further out, if you can pop that out a little bit further to make it a path where bikes can go, that, you know, again, I don't know how many miles, it's 3 miles between the hamlets. It's a long walk, you know, but it's kind of thing that, and the other thing about bicycling on highways is most of the folks that are like, skilled bicyclists will not have a problem going on a bike lane on a highway. But there's a large part of the population that will not go there, will not use it, you know. But it's amazing when folks build these shared use paths or bike paths, how many people use them. It's unbelievable the latent demand for pathways in communities. You know, it's huge. And we heard it from high school kids. It's like you really have to drive pretty much everywhere in town. And so this would be a long-term goal to make these connectivities, you know, north-south along 9W. And then, if you can, a few major east-west corridors like Western Avenue corridor, and you've got a safe use of school plan that lays out some options. And then here, Middle Turnpike is another one that, again, piece by piece, you can build that connectivity system. And it may not be this town board that gets it all done, maybe next town board in the future. I've been working on trail, I think the Spring Run Trail in Saratoga, Cynthia Bean did a master plan for that 22 years ago. 5 years ago, they had the grand opening for that trail, okay? And they had the grand opening because 3 years before, they had done some design work and they were ready for you know, what is that, Recovery Act, right? They looked for projects, they had ready to build projects, and they got several $1 million to build that because they had the design guidelines. So it's a long-term thing for the town. I think connectivity will be important for towns, also from a business point of view and for a residential quality of life point of view for folks coming to town and staying in town. So thank you for your patience and listening. Tell me that our committee put a lot of thought into this. I'd like to hear any questions or thoughts or comments from the board. Our next step is public meeting number 3, which will be June 12th. I think it's going to here at the town board meeting. We'll present the draft comprehensive plan, the LWRP, the consistency law, and the draft NRPIS. It's pretty, you've seen, I think, now pretty much everything that's going to be in it. Yes, we'll review the impacts, you know, of this. We don't really see any big impacts on what, you know, in terms of that aspect. And then June 26th, ideally, we'd like the board to accept the draft NRPIS as complete so you can process the
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, John.
The board have any questions for John?
Okay, today. I'll have questions later on.
There was talk of residential and highway development district. At some point, there was talk of a residential and highway development district.
Yeah. I think the point was we could accommodate, you could probably a lot more uses if you create the infrastructure, the pedestrian infrastructure in there. So I'm not saying that's where it should go right now, but it's something that you could consider.
So we have to change the master plan.
Well, yeah, right now, we have to look at what we're saying is put the infrastructure in place for pedestrians in the enterprise zone, in the highway district.
So along the state corridor you're talking about.
Right, on the state corridor, right.
So you want the planning board to start mandating the sidewalks in the state corridor.
Well, I get a bit of mistakes though, but, no, I think there should be sidewalks, yes. There should be sidewalks on the state corridor,
But the state building is just the paint, they're never gonna build them.
probably not.
You can barely
They get the highway paved.
you can't even fill potholes. The other question I have, you're talking about a bike route up on 9W? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
We don't have the space to even do half the stuff we want to do there. I mean, I'm looking at your pictures, and I don't see how that fits into what Marlborough has as far as, first of all, you have a lot more flat land in all your pictures, and these other developments that we have anywhere on 9W. And the hamlet of Marlborough, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't have parking as it is, and to add bike racks down through Marlborough and that now to 9W, I don't see where you're putting it. I really don't see it. I don't see the back off where you have the grass and the sidewalks and the grass on the other side. The house on 9W are right on 9W.
Well, I think, I understand that, but I think, if you look at, obviously, in Marlborough Hamlet is the tightest spot.
And even on 9W in Marlborough, you have to make the turn.
I think, well, here's the thing, 9W corridor, if I had a pen and paper, and I was design, we can design a whole new highway corridor, but have all that stuff in it, and still county traffic, and I would challenge.
If you go right into where the Raccoon Saloon is and where the hardware department used to,
No, not there, I don't think he's.
how, yeah, I'm saying, so if you want the Hamlet people to come down and use these bike routes, then they're gonna obviously have to go out to 9W to get to them if they're not right in 9W.
Right, well, like for example, you can't, there's a lot of places where you won't be able to ride your bike in the middle of the Hamlet Center area, not gonna be.
I'm talking about you just come in from the Hamlet.
But I'm saying out, out by the town highway bar,
Oh, yeah, but then how do you get there? You drive your car with the rack on top to get there?
No, you have a sidewalk. Well, it's done, you have a sidewalk. Let me put it this way. If we had done that, we had built that highway, and we had put this pathway in, and I showed you images of what it is right now, it's going to be full of people, and they'd be killing me for saying, we're going to take away the pathway. I think we have to, there's a way to look at reinvent that highway from pavement to pavement, don't become a right away to right away.
Well, here's my situation. You have the Hamlet, which is where the most population density is.
Yeah.
Okay, and the biggest problem we have now is because we don't have enough population density to even have a supermarket in this town.
Yeah.
So now, and there's less businesses in town than when I grew up here. So there's a problem.
Yeah.
So now you come down, I'm in the Hamlet. I do live in the Hamlet on Hudson Terrace. For me to get out with my bike, I'd have to take a rack. To get anywhere from where I am, I wouldn't go on 9W right there where the Raccoon is to get down out of the Hamlet.
Right.
So we're gonna have a little place where we bring our bikes to, and then we start from there.
So maybe there's alternate routes to get to 9W, like some of the
With a
other,
bike?
the back roads. So maybe, yeah, you
I
could
think-
go up Latin Town Road or some other areas and then cut
I don't
over.
think we wanna ride on Latin Town Road.
I think
People
if-
do it all the time.
I know, I'm scared.
People do it all the time. I mean, this is something that the,
I have in my town, right?
Yeah.
I can't get to look, it takes, I gotta ride my bike on the road, I gotta cross, I gotta walk my bike, I probably can get across. But there is a bike path being built in state put in a highway crossing. I'll tell you, the 9W, once you get to a path, the thing I'm thinking of is, what's 9W gonna be like, in terms of, is it just gonna be, is it gonna be a barrier for you all? Is it gonna?
I'm not saying it's a barrier, I just want, I don't want people to have to, be in a situation where they're in danger. I mean, that 9W is a dangerous road.
well, that's also something that the 9W quarter study will look at.
I think that BFJ, of course, they didn't pick us, we would've done
I know you would have.
just like the law. But,
they'll pay more money to New York City because there's a lot of voters there. And that's who carries all the votes up in Albany, so that's why they'll spend the money in the city, there's no doubt in my mind. But, you know, when you're talking about a small town like this, we're not gonna get any money from the state for something like that, not a chance. I just think it's pie in the sky. I hope, I mean, if you can get that to that point, I'm looking at this, now, I've been with you for 10 years, I've been here a long time. That plan hasn't changed from when I started the first time you did the plan. It's the same plan, but now we're going back, and I'm seeing pictures I've seen for 10 years now. And I don't see any development, I don't see anything happening with it. That's the problem I have with it. Why don't we get to a situation where it's something we can actually get done?
Well,
Instead of
that's
something
what, I think that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, but I
think
don't
that's
see
what,
it there.
yeah, well, I think there's a lot of projects that John's identified in this presentation.
I saw it.
That we have to now decide whether we're gonna go after these projects, whether we're gonna pursue the funding, how we're gonna get that funding done. That's the next step. I mean, this
Howard, I
is,
totally understand that, but you're looking at pictures of other towns that are not even close to what our topography is at all.
well, maybe not now, but maybe.
You're not gonna, you see the shale, you see what's everywhere along 9W. I mean, let's be serious.
All right.
Let's get something we can do.
Oh, well,
Okay.
that's what we have to do. We have to
Okay.
take these projects, these ideas, boil them down and see what's realistic and then go after the funding,
That's
which
all I'm
we
saying.
are going to try to do now through the CFA
That's all I'm
process.
saying. I've heard this for 10 years, and, you know, hopefully
Well,
something will be
maybe now's the time.
done. Okay, I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Thank you.
I mean, I've been on the board for 4 years. Some of these things, I think, I don't believe I've ever heard of a Latintown Creek or Marlborough Mills walkway. That's pretty new to me. Certainly, all the work that's been done on the Milton Riverfront to get it to the point now where we have some landscape plans for that, that wasn't here 10 years ago, I don't think.
I agree with you
But-
on the Milton part, because that's a different situation. That's a hamlet that's off 9.
And you're talking about the Marlborough 2008 Transportation Plan that had a lot of great ideas in it. John was part of that. That didn't get funded by the state. Now, so maybe we need to take pieces of that and go
That's what
after
I'm trying to
funding.
say. I don't think we should go for go for things we can actually do. That's all I'm saying.
No, I think one thing that's not in here that is like some kind of organization in terms of what priorities and what's long-term.
Correct, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at something we can actually get done. Okay, I mean, I don't want to go and, you know, I'd love to have everything just the way, it looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but I wanted something I could actually get done in this town. That's what I want. Okay, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking you, Howard.
I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go do it.
Okay? Thank you.
I mean, I think, Eddie, you're right. I mean, the stuff in the hamlet seems to be attainable if we could get funding.
Right.
The parks, the Milton Hamlet.
Correct.
Well, I think the hard sell is the 9W stuff. I know people can wrap their head around the vision of it, and it's hard.
You know what's amazing?
It's hard to vision it.
I know, right? It's not gonna be, it's gonna be bigger than a town. It's gonna be, you know, some state or federal, something, you know, and I believe in it, and so.
I mean, 9W would have to, I mean, to do a lot of that, right, you'd have to basically go down back to 2 lanes wherever there's 4 lanes.
Right, and look where we went to.
And then
Dunkin'
use
Donuts.
that roadway for a bicycle lane. and
Yeah, I mean,
pathway.
that's actually what the
And that's a
DOT,
possibility of what DOT wants to do.
they're suggesting that, really.
And
Yeah.
I
So-
could see that, but the tight spots, I'd say, like you said, when you get to the hamlets, you know, that's almost
I agree,
impossible.
absolutely.
But-
Start in the hamlet. It would, you know, absolutely start there and make it as good as you can.
It's nice as
that
it is,
might
and
happen.
attract
I mean,
businesses.
DOT
I think
wants to do
we need to
that.
concentrate
And
on,
then you take out the whole
on
thing,
having
you
more
got the
people,
space,
You do.
density, population density, because we're never going to draw business here with the density we have in Hamlet. That's what you need. People that can walk to the businesses and that kind of stuff. I think that's important.
I mean, you know, like I said, if you took a whole lane out on each side
Yeah.
of some of those 4 lanes, which I don't know if it's a smart thing or a bad thing, but now you have the space to build those things, right?
Yep.
That's where you could do those things. The tough spot we have a high-powered transfer gas line on one side of the
Right.
road,
We can't do anything on there.
which is very hard. It's always a hindrance of building a walkway or building. Yeah, it's a tough spot on the east side. Which is actually probably, in my opinion, I think I said it at the meeting, is the best spot to put a walkway from the hamlet of Marlborough to CVS Plaza. It's the flattest part of the property, of the land, except there's a high-powered transfer line. So it would be beautiful.
And I told my lovely wife Cynthia, her lovely father, who just passed away 2 years ago, surveyed that line, laid that out. That was the first gates coming back from the war, was up in Hudson, is putting that, he's telling me all about, you know, Marlborough, how it goes through,
Yep.
comes through the hamlet. No, I, you know,
You That's.
I would just like to, prioritize it, so we're getting things that we can actually get done.
I appreciate your comments, because I've been around long enough to see, behind the sky, and that's why I don't think on our plans to be behind the sky, and try to focus on what you can do. But, on the other hand, I think bear with me, having that long-term vision of what might be possible too, and now there's a priority, we're putting it out there, because,
I just want to get things out there we can get funded and get done.
look, I remember for the Hudson Greenway, we worked for them off and on for the past 20 years. We did this study last year for the Hudson River Greenway Trail. It's a tiny study, tiny budget. And we put it out there to the state, the governor's office, and say, you could do this. Not we could, but the governor wants to do it. He's going to do the Empire State Trail. The state has got the budget, $200 million to do the Empire State Trail. 20 years ago in Manhattan, there was no walkways in Manhattan. They made the entire Greenway in Manhattan. They did it, And so Westchester's got 36 miles of the Greenway Trail built, and really tough on their trail. But again, starting the analysis, I get it. I'm not.
I just want to see something. It's
John,
been
I
a
have
while.
one question though, and it would deal with the hamlet of Marlborough, Dock Road,
Yeah.
where there could be a possibility if we could have a nice trail, if we get some donation of property and stuff. Have you guys come up with any way of alleviating the issue with Dock Road? Because that's, I think, the biggest problem of that whole issue, of the whole down there, is that you can't get up and down that road.
Well,
I mean, that road, is there any alternative?
you could make the road a shared use pathway, right, John? You could, just by paint.
No, but I mean, have you come up with an alternative way to
You mean a
get down to
traffic
the
bus.
river? Because basically, you can't get tractor trailers up and down that road. It's an industrial park to nowhere, let's be honest, right? You can't have an industrial park down there, and
Oh,
you can't
in
get a
terms of
truck
an
up and down
industrial
the river.
park? No, I don't
Yeah,
think,
it's industrial
It's
park.
zoning.
It's zoned
industrial.
yeah, I understand that.
But you can never,
but
what are
I-
you gonna build there that's industrial when you
Well,
can't
you're
get a
not,
truck?
you're not, because Tilcon's never gonna do anything with that property, so.
Well, you got the whole parcel.
It's not, no,
We're talking about
dock
Dockside on the
side,
north
is
side
half
of
of
the
it's
road. That's
industrial.
all industrial.
Oh, dockside,
That's
okay.
privately owned.
What I'm
Yeah.
saying is, it almost needs a different access point, so, and I don't know how you would do that.
Rather than off 9W.
But,
Yeah.
but it's almost
So
like
you've got a
different
one-way,
access.
another road going down the other way.
Yeah, you'd have to
Like-
come up by Sitco between
Yeah.
the Tony's Park.
Even
and
that,
the-
it's just,
It has to be
Still,
one
it's
way each way.
flat.
we had this issue, right? The boat got stuck right in the middle of 9W.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't get out. We had traffic back up there,
Just getting up the hill.
just getting up the
Yeah.
hill. They can't even turn out.
Hold on a
Yeah.
second, James. Hold on
I'm
a
wondering if there's a way that the committee can see, or, I don't
have
know
it-
how you can do it. It's kind of like a pipe
You'd
dream.
have to
How
bring
can
the
you have
road
a
up-
different
you'd
access
have to
to
bring the
that
road up by the gas
property?
station.
Yeah, no, we haven't really looked at individual
by the school.
But I
properties.
think
in
that's the
game.
biggest hindrance of that whole site.
The dockside
Yeah,
site.
the dockside site.
Yeah, that's a tough site, I agree with you. I
Even
thought-
from residential, right? If you wanted to
Yeah.
build
kinda-
townhouses,
it's kind of a-
it's tough,
Take a left out of there.
you know?
There's a couple things I have in mind, but, we could talk offline about that.
Okay.
I have to get home tonight at some point.
I'd just like to say that with regard to Dock,
Excuse me, your name?
James Garofalo, with regard
Is
to
it brief? I won't let you come up. Is it brief?
Is it brief?
Is it brief?
Short.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With regard to Dockside, when that was proposed as a residential development, one of the mitigations they had was a slight changing of the grade where it met Route 9W, and you can go back to those plans and you can see how they
Yeah, I know.
slightly changed
I think
the
your
grade.
company did that.
Yeah,
did.
I know, I'm familiar with that. Just, even with those changes that they made,
Still is tough.
it's still a
Yeah,
tough
it's
spot.
Tough left and right.
I mean, they bought the house on the corner, right, specifically.
Mike,
for
would
that
you
reason.
come up, please, if you have a
Trying to
question?
make the road a better turn.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I just wonder if he could come up like by the school, young people come up and down somehow.
Possibly.
You know what I mean?
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Dovich from the town of Marlborough. I saw this whole presentation, all these sky in the pie projects. Simple question. When are we going to get 9W fixed, paved, and repaired from the Newburgh line to the Highland line?
Well, the schedule is for 2018 to repave. That's what we hear from the state.
We have no control over that, you know that, Mike.
Well,
so-
I understand that.
We don't
but-
have the control, but this is this is what they tell us, that in 2018, 9W will be repaved. And so the study that we're doing now with the county will, give us some idea what we like to see in Marlborough from Western Avenue up to Blue Point, is it?
Yes.
So hopefully it coincides with them with 2018, and maybe they take some of the stuff that we come out of that study. That's going to be good things like widening the shoulders, eliminating some lanes and stuff like that.
And that's why I'm bringing this subject
Yeah.
up, because 9W's been in disrepair for...
Yeah,
God knows how
and we
long.
all agree.
Now,
We all agree.
The problem is when you're trying to attract business to a municipality and you have a road that looks like it belongs in Central America, that's a problem. The other
agree.
issue is going to be the terrain along the side of 9W. We're talking about bike paths and mixed-use paths. There's only certain areas you could even utilize those facilities.
We realize.
Yeah, we realize that.
That's what I was,
It's a tough,
Right.
it's tough.
It's really tough.
Yep,
we're
we agree.
That's why we're gonna try to concentrate on things we can actually get accomplished.
Agreed. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Thank you, John.
So John, one
Thank you,
thing,
John.
one thing you didn't focus on really is the comprehensive plan, and the idea there is that you're pretty much done with the final draft, I guess.
There's a draft out there, yep.
Right.
Yep, that
And
will be on the,
everybody has a copy of it, so it's open for comment at this point in time, but it's pretty much done. Yep,
Thanks.
yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Let's get to the,
You want to come up to the microphone, please? Well, then you're not going to say anything.
he's asking.
Yes.
Tom,
What's the plan?
I have everybody come up. You have to come up, state your name, and ask the microphone up there. You've been in front of microphones before. If I let you not go, then Mr. Walters over there is going to bust my...
What's the answer to that,
All
John?
right, I'll ask the question, all right? Is a comprehensive plan ready for us to look at, and can somebody that's not in the town, on the town board, take a look at the comprehensive?
Yeah,
gonna go to a
it's a
public hearing
draft.
anyway, so
Yeah,
It's a draft,
yeah.
okay?
put it on the website.
So it's okay if we put it out, I don't think it's on our website, we'll put it on the website,
Yeah.
okay.
Put it on the website, Tom.
We'll
put it on the website
We
this
will
week.
put it on the website for you, Tom.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
You got a hot date tonight there?
Not me. She's already been, we haven't even started the...
This is the business of the town. Okay. I have a budget happening, as she puts it, January to April. The town received full tax payment and water reliefs from Ulster County in February. General Fund A, the town has received 86% of revenue budgeted for 2017 and has spent 42% of expenditures budget for 2017. Highway Fund DA, the town has received 94% of revenue budgeted for 2017 and has spent 22% of expenditure budget for 2017. The Water Department had their first billing for water sewer rents in January. The town received approximately 1/3 in revenue, which is right on budget for water and sewer billing. That's nice to know. So the increase in rates should bring the water and sewer funds right in budget this year. So far, all funds look to be within normal budget for this time of year. I will be keeping a close eye on central service line, item IT line, which is about half spent. Health insurance, HRA, health insurance deductibles, fund has disputed $85,262.06 of the $217,000 budgeted for this plan. Update on the town CPAs. I've been working very closely with Dennis from Sedor, cleaning up accounts from prior years and pulling work needed for the 2015 audit. We should be planning a date for on-site field work by the end of this week, beginning of next week. I will be attending the annual finance school May 11th and 12th from the Associated Town. Some of the topics are misuse of municipal funds, pitfalls of municipal budgeting, capital assets, and accounting for reserves. And that was from Christine Wilco. Also, our fund balance is around $500,000 for general fund, about 600 and some thousand for highway. We're getting there, Ralph. Supervisor's report for May 2017. Attended New Paltz Regional Chamber of Commerce meeting, attended educational forum for Ulster County Planning on updated community planning guide. Attended Town Planning Board meeting, attended the Ulster County Supervisors meeting in Kingston. Met with Lara Pastasso to discuss upgrade to town playground. Attended the Train Station Foundation board meeting. Met with Ag and Market Representative Patty, this one is Serzanga, about possible rental of office space at the Highway Department building. By the way, they did rent that office at a rent of $400 a month. So they moved in and started that. Met with Gail Appler Jr. and Dave Zambito, Milton Landing Park, to discuss improvements on the trail. Attended Milton Business Association Spring Fling at Buttermilk Falls. That was very successful. Met with Cindy Hilbert and Councilman Corcoran to discuss personal matters. Personnel matters, not personal matters.
Not personal.
A lot of personal matters going on. Personnel. I'm trying to liven this up. Met with Verizon representatives and their engineer, with Councilman Corcoran and Tech Advisor Danny Brook to discuss internet speed. Attended the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Committee Forum on the state CFA process with Councilman Baker and Rosemary Wine. Met with David Corrigan of the New York State DOT to discuss the Gateway project at the south end of Route 9W. Met with Planner John B. Hem, Councilman Baker, New York State DOS Representative Barbara Kendall, and Cindy Lanzetta to go over LWRP, and attended public meeting for land use for the LWRP Local Waterfront Revitalization Plan. Respectfully, Al Lanzetta. Also met today with Gail Appler and John Alongi. As you know, we didn't receive that $1 million for the TAP program at the sidewalks along 9W on the western side. So we're concentrating on the $250,000 grant from Frank Scartatos for sidewalks in the hamlet of Marlborough and Milton. So that was what that meeting was about. Moving forward. Thomas.
You're up. What was that?
Building Inspector's Report, April 2017. Certificate of Occupancy, 0. Request for Information, 12. Trailer Park Renewals, 5. Building Extensions, 1. Fire Inspections, 3. Fire Calls, 1. Stop Work Orders, 1. Order to Remedies, 18. Complaints, 38. Burn Permits, 1. Building Permits, 20. 2 one-family, 3 electrical, 2 furnaces, 1 pool, 5 sheds, 4 additions, 1 deck, 1 wireless communications, 1 solar panel for an estimated cost of building $1,132,326. Monthly receipts, request for information 1,200, building extensions 100, trailer park renewals 2525, building permits $6,059.50, fire inspection fees 200, for a total monthly receipt $10,084.50. Total miles 951, total gas usage 68 gallons.
This building permits, Tom, it's 20, that's for new homes, or that's?
No, 2 one-family, 3
I see
electrical,
what
2
you're saying
furnaces,
about
that's
two one-family.
the breakdown.
These are all
Okay.
different permits. When you get complaints, Tom, what's the biggest complaint you guys are getting in there? You say you have 38 complaints. I mean, just off the top of your head, what's the biggest thing?
Property maintenance.
Just property maintenance?
Don't like their neighbor. Lawn's not mowed. Toys are outside.
Cars in the driveway.
That's why there's 38 complaints, but only 18 orders of remedy, because a complaint sometimes not justified through the building department. So,
And I expect this time of the year probably more.
oh yeah, it's a lot more.
Summertime, right?
Summertime.
Grass is growing. And then
Grass is
springtime.
growing quicker.
Then the burn permit, that was just for probably ag, right?
Agricultural, which is right, they're all still exempt from the burn ban.
I mean, most of those complaints, they're really,
They're not worthy of.
Well, 20 to 38, or
Yeah.
just stuff that I have to, I'll investigate, but,
right.
they don't warrant, they don't meet the criteria of the code for a violation.
Is that an aesthetic thing? Is that what one
Sometimes.
person sees that's not?
Sometimes it's aesthetics. I mean,
Yeah.
I've gotten complaints where the neighbor's cat came over, is laying on my barbecue grill.
So they turned it on.
I mean,
Oh, that's not
Jerry
good.
knows.
so Jerry just takes my numbers and multiply it by 100, but again, that's why, like I said, you'll see 38 complaints, but only 18 orders of remedy.
Okay. Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
They get off the phone with you and call Jerry.
Chief,
What's going on, Jerry?
how are you,
I
Chief?
dump as many of those complaints I can on Tommy, because people don't like what I have to say, so I figure if he says the same thing, they might believe him. Activity summary for the month of April 2017. Motor vehicle accidents, personal injury 1, fatal 0, property damage 11, accidents not requiring report 4, for a total of 16 for the month. Summonses issued, vehicle and traffic 134 summonses, 3 parking violations issued. Complaint activity, total blotter entries 310, total arrests for the month 21. Telephone calls handled 1,689 calls. Overtime, payrolls 8 and 9. We have full-time dispatch overtime 8 hours for $271. And part-time dispatch overtime 48 for $1,025. Mileage for the month, 11,643 miles. And fuel consumption, 937.815 gallons. And attached is the other expenditures.
My question's gonna be,
Sure.
how come the vehicle and traffic, are people driving better now?
We just didn't have as many details. Some of the funding didn't come through, so we're not able to do as much of them.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd like to say they're driving better.
On the parking tickets, that was in Milton or is that in Marlborough?
2 in Marlborough, 1 in Milton for a firehouse violation.
Wow.
I found out who that is, and he apologized. I didn't realize the name until I met the guy, and he'd mentioned that he got a parking ticket, and then I realized who it was. He apologized, and it'll never happen again. Construction vehicles were blocking Frida's, so he just went back further, and when he got back, saw the ticket on his car, he looked at the signs and said, so he's gonna pay it.
Okay.
So
And,
Jerry,
Chief, just briefly, we discussed the change about how we address overtime and stuff like that, or?
Yes, the union came to me with issues on the way we currently cover our overtime. After many meetings and, I don't know, a year or so of conversation back and forth, a resolution was drafted, changing the way we do the overtime. We gave a little bit, they gave a little bit. Currently, the way it is now, because it's still not signed yet, we wait till 48 hours prior to an open shift and then call everybody, because it's overtime at that point. We call everybody off the list, full-timers and part-timers. What the union wanted was the ability to cover the shifts at the time the schedule was put out. So the problem that became with that is that I can't call a full-timer, let's say on April 25th when the schedule was put out, for May, because it's overtime automatically, and we didn't budget for that, so we can't do it that way. So the agreement we came up with was we're going to put out the schedule, whatever shifts are uncovered. Lately it hasn't been very many, but whatever shifts are uncovered, we will call the part-timers first off the list. They'll cover it at straight time. They have the option to say, yes, I'll take it, or no, I can't work. Once we do that, we cover all the shifts, we're done, If we do that and we don't cover all the shifts, then we use the entire list, including full-timers, so that they can better budget their time for the month of, the following month. They'll know well in advance. The way it worked out, we tried this preliminarily for May. The way it worked out was that we covered all the shifts at straight time by the part-timers. The other thing that this prevents is, once we put out a schedule, if there are open shifts listed on the board, a part-timer could come in and just take them all if they wanted to. And if I don't pay attention to what they're taking, then they go into more than 40 hours in a week, and I gotta pay overtime anyway. Most times we catch it, but they were allowed to just take it. So the 48-hour rule that we have in the contract, where a shift is overtime at 48 hours, virtually goes away with this new plan. It's still in the contract, but we'll never hit that situation because it'll be covered at the time before the 48 hours, the time schedule is put out. So we did that preliminarily in May, and it worked out very, very well. So the union drafted an MOA, which I've seen, but I don't have a final copy of yet.
I haven't seen it either.
I can tell you the union ratified it, so it was 12-5 on a vote. So it's basically waiting for my signature and then, of course, the board's review and
I'm
signature.
glad it worked out. It sounded like a
So,
good plan.
Yeah, it looks good, and they're actually making a change to the contract, which is
Amazing. That's big.
very good, yeah.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, and just kudos to Justin Pascal, that's who came up with this idea, whether he got it from the union or it's his brainchild, but it's well thought out, and it works very well.
Good.
And the speed,
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
the
we
speed
do
trailer.
have our new
No, I
speed
was not
trailer.
gonna let you
I'm
down.
sorry. We do have our new speed trailer. Of course, currently it's right in New Paltz, but we did have it for 2 weeks or so. It's assigned to us permanently. They will call on occasion, like there's a big event this past weekend in New Paltz, some big event they wanted the trailer for. But anyway, it's a speed trailer. It's got a camera in it for LPRs. We can read license plates. It's a variable message sign. So the last time we put it out, we changed. You could set the speed settings. There's a minimum speed, a maximum speed. It'll post the speed limit and then your speed. And if you're going, I don't know, say 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, you can put up messages. Slow down, use caution, speeding. Well, there's also a big frowny face. So we've been using the frowny face.
I was on Lanton, I was doing 98, and I got the brand.
Just to see what it was, right? Yeah.
That was pretty good, though.
Nick Jeremino's been running it around town, and he's doing a very good job. We're still experimenting with it, but the sheriff's department called and said that we have a tremendous amount of data already flowing into them, which is good. That's really why they made the plan that we have, is so that we could get a speed trailer that satisfies our needs, but they can actually do the data collection. That's what they want.
so when it was on Western Avenue, did you actually issue any tickets
I
from it?
couldn't tell you.
Okay.
That I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I can find that out, though, and let you know.
Are we using the LPR? The LPR is there, it's recording.
It's recording plates, that's all it does.
That's all it does.
It doesn't, it's
Doesn't
not
say
like the
which one's
LPR
going
in a
on.
car where it tells us the plate's suspended or the person's want it. It just it's just a data recorder.
So how do you use that?
Well, if there was, say, it was on Western Avenue and there was burglaries on Western Avenue, we could review the LPR data, find out who went up and down the street at whatever time, try and develop suspects that way. That's really what the sheriff's department wants it for. They have LPRs, video cameras, mobile trailers like this all over the county. And they basically just collect data for investigation purposes. They have a bunch of burglaries in an area, they'll surround that area with LPRs, start reading plates at certain times to see who's going by and what. They've solved a lot of things like that. There's very little cameras, there's very little LPRs in the southern end of the county because everybody forgets us. So with the inquiry about the speed trailer, they jumped on it. And of course, I don't know, I think you guys know, but the agreement is we don't pay anything for the trailer.
Right.
We just have to maintain the extended warranties.
And housing,
So-
right, too.
And housing, oops, sorry, yeah, we'll keep it here and stuff like that, but they'll cover all the maintenance, they'll do everything, just gotta tell them it's broken or whatever, and they'll fix it.
Are we gonna put a sign, Town of Marlborough, on it, or? we
Well,
thought-
that's the other problem, is all those pieces on it are aluminum.
Okay.
I did talk with, prior to Jerry Sarpoli passing, I had a conversation with him about that. His idea was to mount metal signs to the aluminum and then sticker the metal signs.
You could adhere the vinyl stickers to.
Yes, I want to use a magnet, something that's
Oh, you want to
removable.
use magnets.
Yeah,
Okay.
something that
That
was,
makes sense.
we were able to remove. So he said if we mounted the metal sign to the aluminum with screws or whatever, however they want to do it, we could easily take them off if we had to. The sheriff doesn't care. I said to him I wanted to have it all lettered up. He didn't care. So they were good with that. So it's working out very well. You'll see it all over town. If you have problem areas, let me know. We'll get it up there.
So Jerry, you're saying that it'll read the plate, but it doesn't read the plate of the person that's speeding?
No, it does.
It does.
So
It absolutely
so
does.
you'll know
You
if that
just don't
person-
know that that's the car that was speeding, no.
That's what
It's-
I mean, you don't know.
No, it's
Okay,
not
you're
linked.
speeding, boom, takes a picture of that car.
No.
No, it's not like the.
It takes a picture of everything that passes it. Everything with a license plate that passes it, reflective
So we
materials.
can't get
or whatever.
Howard Speeder up there.
It won't tell you that Jerry Kokoza at this time went by at 77 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's
It
what I
won't-
was
It
wondering.
won't tell you that. Or Jerry's car, whatever. It does not tell you that, no.
It just tells you you were there.
It just takes a picture of your plate and I
Could
can
it
tell
be,
you went
could
by that
could it,
machine.
could it be upgraded to do that?
Oh, yeah, that was the,
That was the one we looked at.
this,
a higher
this,
price.
this
Price
machine
keep
was
letting go
30
up.
grand.
What's that?
This machine was 30 grand. They have other machines that do all that. It was closer to 50,000, and the sheriff didn't have that much money to spend, he said.
If he wants to pay for it, we will take it, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. You never know what we might get in the future.
Did you read the?
Yes. Monthly report for the town of Marlborough dog control. We received a total of 9 calls this month, including 3 calls of service from the Marlborough PD, State Police, and Ulster County Sheriff. Responded to 2 active complaints and/or cases which are now closed or resolved. We currently have 1 open case that's been addressed, but is still ongoing and unresolved. We impounded 1 stray dog, 0 parents' tickets were issued for the month. We currently have no dogs in the kennel. We had 0 dog bites for the month. We have 1 potential dangerous dog under investigation. We have 1 open case in the town of Marlborough Justice Court. Andrew McKee.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jerry.
Did you get a report from Gail?
I just looked, I didn't get one on email. No,
I didn't
you?
get one either,
I thought about it as I pulled in, he usually calls me up.
I told him I
Hopefully
didn't
he's
get a
okay.
report.
I think he's all right, he must just have forgotten it.
Okay.
We'll get it.
All right, I'll do the water one here. Monthly
Okay.
report for April. Water consumption total 12.6 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 423,000 gallons. Compared to last month, 12.4 million gallons, which is a daily usage of 400,000 gallons. Compared to a year ago, water consumption was 13.0 million for the month, which is a daily usage of 421,000 gallons. So we're pretty close to last year. Summary for the month. Hydrants. We started flushing hydrants, and I saw that. Water mains. Had to repair service line on Young's Avenue with the help of the Highway Department. Valves. Had to repair a 6-inch valve on Old Indian Road and also a 4-inch valve on Young's Avenue. Curb boxes. Had to repair curb box on Latin Town Road and Reservoir Road because of auto accident. Attended a 811 excavation seminar. Service line inspections 1, closings 2, markouts 15, gallons of gas 275, gallons of diesel 5, mileage for the month 2,000 miles.
Thank you, sir.
That's from Charlie and Jeff.
Okay, Town Clerk Colleen? You want to read that, Scott? Send the big one down to Howard.
Howard, here's your favorite.
Town Clerk Monthly Report for April 2017, Conservation 17 for $54.84, Dog Licenses 32 for a total of $175, Towing Licenses 5 for $1,041.60, Water Services 4 for $4,675, Transfer Station Permits 8 for $465, Punch Cards 35 for $1,895, Marriage Licenses 2 for $35, Building Department Fees 1 for $6,640.77, Fire Fees 1 for $270, Lifeguard 1 for $200, Zumba 1 for $153, Accident Reports 20 for $100, Certified Copies 3 for $160, Dog Warden Fees 1 for $282.50, FOIA Request 3 for $59.50, Junkyard licenses, 3 for $750. Park fees, 1 for $300. Peddlers licenses, 1 for $500, for a grand total of $17,757.21.
Thanks, Bill.
Looks like you were real busy with the fishing licenses, huh?
Yeah, fishing is very popular right now.
Have people been
How
getting
we-
their
how we-
freshwater permits? Yeah, marine's free, but they've been getting the free marine one, right?
Does the pavilion look like it's getting pretty booked up?
Not so much this year,
No?
actually. No, we were just discussing that. It doesn't seem like it's very,
If it's not free, they don't want it.
Yeah, you're finding out it's not free.
For,
not one day left in June.
for residential, it's 250?
Yeah, 300 for residents and 500 for
500 for
All
non.
right, 3.5, okay.
I thought it was 100 for residents.
Should be more than double, actually, for non-residents. Okay. Yeah,
Thank you, Colin.
Well, maybe there's something happened.
you got Anthony's?
Okay, so I got both of Tony's. I like to have it included in the record. I have his April 19th report, and I'll just do his May 8th report. You know how this goes. Report on Marlborough wastewater treatment plant for the month of April 2017. The average flow to the plant was 130,000 gallons per day. This was about 74% of design capacity, 175,000 GPD. The process is working well, meeting Speedy's requirements, removing 99% of BOD and 97% of suspended solids. The average flow to the Milton plant during April 2017 was 38,000 gallons per day. This is about 69% of design capacity, which is 55,000 gallons per day. The process is working well, meeting Speedy's requirements, removing 99% of BOD and 91% of suspended solids. Overall, both water plant treatment plants are in good working order, but getting old. I don't know what that means. The collection system, we're all getting old. The collection system is being monitored and maintained by Charlie Maggio in the Water Department. If you need any additional information, please do not hesitate to contact me, Tony Falco. Thank you, Tony. Could you read the assessors, please?
Assessors
Councilman
report for May from Cindy Hilbert. Our office processed 19 real property transfers. Our office filed the tentative assessment rule of May 1st, 2017. Change of assessments, notices, and exemptions, removal of notices were mailed out on May 1st, 2017. We are currently taking appointments for Grievance Day up until Friday, May 19th, 2017. Grievance Day will be held on Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12, and then a break, and then 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., and then again 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Hearings are held by appointment only. We put a copy of the 4-page grievance application on the front page of the town's website. It is listed as complaint on real property assessment, RP/524. Also available for download is a copy of the instructions of the RP/524 form. Respectfully, Cindy Hilbert.
Thank you, Scott. Howard, could you read
Okay.
Chris Brand's report, please?
Planning Board report, for May 8th, 2017. Meeting held on April 17th, 2017. Attendees were Brand, Couchy, Clark, Lanzetta, LaFaro, and Trapani. Agenda approval, stenographic minutes for 3/22/17. That was approved unanimously. First item on the agenda was Mazstock Mazzola, 35 Hampton Road, Marlborough. Sketch site plan, public hearing. The applicant reappeared for the scheduled public hearing for their special use permit. Two residents voiced their questions and their concerns regarding the project. Another spoke in full support of the proposal. After closing the public hearing, a negative declaration was issued by the board. Approval by resolution was unanimous. Board member Cindy Lanzetta recused herself from all proceedings regarding this matter. Second item was Brian Bottini, 24 Chris Corner Drive, Marlborough, sketch lot line revision. The applicant reappeared in order to seek approval for a lot line consolidation resulting in one 4.46 acre parcel. A negative deck was issued by the board. Approval by resolution was unanimous. Third item was Mohammed Wahid, 144 Reservoir Road, sketch lot line revision. The applicant appeared in order to seek approval for a lot line consolidation. A negative declaration was issued by the board. Approval by resolution was unanimous. The applicant was advised his approval could not and would not be finalized until removal of the mobile home on this site was verified by the town code enforcement officer. Failure to do so in a timely manner would render this decision void. Next item on the agenda will Libera Properties, 1987, 1989, Route 9W, Marlborough, final site plan approval. The applicant reappeared to receive final approval. A neg deck was issued by the board. Approval by resolution was unanimous. The following conditions were included. No building permit shall be issued until final approval by the DOT of the traffic management, access, location, and limitations, and any sidewalk details. Secondly, applicants shall provide the town with a performance bond suitable to the town attorney and an amount to be determined by the building inspector for the construction of the curbing, interim landscaping within the curbing, and installation of sidewalks if and when required by the DOT. Within the performance bond, the time for the performance of the curbing and the interim landscaping when the curbing and sidewalks of any shall be on or before a date specified by the DOT. Third item, the applicant shall install sidewalks within the curbing if and as soon as required by DOT. Applicant shall add soil and grass seed to the future sidewalk area between the curbs in a fashion which avoids drop-off and which is acceptable to the building inspector. Applicant shall maintain the area for soil and grass. Fourth item, activities shall be limited to the areas identified and noted on the project plans. And finally, a payment of all fees and defrayment of all consulting expenses of the town. Next item on the agenda was John and Teresa Shillito, 63 Milton Turnpike, Milton, sketch lot line revision. The applicant's representative presented a lot consolidation plan. The technical comments pointed out that the resulting lot would result in 2 residential structures being placed on the same lot. In addition, an accessory structure garage also exists in front of the lot, 50.1. The applicant's representative indicated the house was currently used by local fire agencies as a practice facility. It was agreed notice on the maps indicating neither could be used as either residential structures or garage space now or in the future would be sufficient to bring the applicant into compliance. A neg deck was issued and a public hearing was scheduled for May 1st, 2017. Next item on the agenda, Hans Taylor, 65 Woodcrest Lane, Milton, sketch site plan. The applicant sought approval for the clearing and grading project. He was advised to provide a more accurate and detailed map of the plan, which should include soil erosion and sediment control, in addition to seeding stabilization specifications. The final item on the agenda was Twin Ponds Enterprises, 207 Route 9W, Milton, sketch site plan. The applicant returned to seek site plan approval. Concerns regarding the proposed mixed use of the site were discussed. Technical comments, including questions regarding the regrading of the southern portion of the site, which has resulted in water discharge onto adjoining lands and New York State Route 9W. Encroachment of adjoining lots and grading in the area of disturbance were requested to be depicted on any future plans. Town engineer Pat Hines also questioned the proposed turning templates for tractor trailers entering the property. DOT approval is required, and as with other site plans along the Route 9W corridor, curbing and provisions for sidewalks will need to be addressed. Future maps such as future map submissions should include location of sewer disposal systems, stormwater management, and revisions of paving, parking, and accessibility. Updates from Central Hudson Gas and Electric were also requested due to their access to the parcel. The next deadline was determined to be April 21st, and next scheduled meeting was May 1st, of which I have the minutes or summary of that meeting as well. That was attended by Brand, Couchy, Clark, Lanzetta, LaFaro, Trapani, and Troncalli. Agenda, they approved the stenographic minutes unanimously. Board member Troncalli abstained from the vote. First item on the agenda was Aldridge and Tonsig, Milton Turnpike, Milton sketch subdivision public hearing. The applicant's representative detailed an updated proposal to subdivide a 2.99 acre parcel from an 88.6 acre parcel. A public hearing was opened and closed with one resident providing suggestions. A neg deck was issued and a resolution of approval was unanimously agreed upon. Second item on the agenda was John and Teresa Shillito, 63 Milton Turnpike, sketch lot line revision. The applicant's representative reappeared with updated maps. A resolution of approval was unanimously agreed upon. Final item on the agenda was Hans Taylor, 65 Woodcrest Lane, Milton, sketch site plan, revised plans, which included all requested modifications were received and discussed. A neg deck was issued and a resolution of approval was unanimously agreed upon. Next deadline was set as May 5th. And the next scheduled meeting will be Monday, May 15th, respectively submitted Chris Brand, Chairman. planning board.
Thank you, Howard.
Yep.
You like to pre-record that?
Yeah, I will next week. Next time. Very thorough.
Okay, reports of the committee. I see Meet Me in Marlborough is here, so
Yeah, that would be
it's
great.
getting late, so. Yes, please. I'm sorry.
I brought some brochures. I assume most of you are familiar with them, but if anybody would like. This is very brief, so a couple things on our mind. First of all, I
Could
wanted
you
to
like,
apprise you of a couple.
just state your name?
Oh, my name, Judy Clark. I'm the president of Meet Me in Marlborough.
Thank you.
Right at the moment. So, a couple things I wanted to give you some information about. We've changed a bit of our meeting format. We do meet every month except September and October. You can guess why that might be. And instead of meeting with the entire group every single month, we have decided to divide it up and give this a try. So last month we met with the farmers and the wineries. So our ag members are coming to a meeting that's just focused on them, and I think they were very happy about that. We had a good turnout. We had a lot of good discussion about how we want to go forward. And when we meet as a big group, a lot of times it's not such a big group and people don't come out. So this is, I think, maybe going to be a good improvement. And then we're going to also meet with our supporting members, which are pretty much the businesses in town that join. And so we'll be able to focus on what they're looking for from us and what we can do for them. And so that's kind of a departure from how we used to meet when everybody just met together. And then we're also going to do some kind of a social event a couple of times a year, and also at least 1 or 2 workshops, so that we're training ourselves in staying up to date with things. So that's a new format for us. And then we've also changed the community letter, our newsletter. If you follow that at all, I don't know whether you do, but last year it got very cumbersome. And so we've divided it this year into 2 sections. We're going to be doing, again, ag member focus on wineries and the farms and stuff one week, and then the broader community events the following week, and we'll just alternate back and forth. And it's the couple that we've done so far, I think you would agree, have been very attractive. They're short, they're easy to read, easy to say, oh, that looks interesting. So hopefully that will be something that will help us promote our town and the activities that happen in our town. And then 2 other things are on our mind. Howard had called me about trying to get some pictures that we have to go with the grant application that you're doing for the falls around down from the Falcon and down Dock Road to the river. And we are happy to share those with you. That's not a problem at all. But we do want you to realize that these pictures don't come for free to us either. So please, be aware of that. And when we can work together, we would like to work both from your way to us and from our way to you. So we appreciate your noticing that we had some nice pictures and that if they can be of use to you, that's great. And then the other thing on our mind is that we have in the past done a lot of farmer tributes. We did about 5 or 6 years in a row, if you recall, back between I think 2006 maybe and 2012 or 13. I'm not exactly sure the dates, I didn't check that out. But we have honored a lot of our elder farmers, many of which are now gone, and also some, still active farmers. And we kind of stopped doing it because we ran out of people to honor. At least my husband says, not me, I'm not old enough yet. So we're waiting for him. But those tributes all have a picture. And we would request that maybe you allow them to be set in display somewheres in this building as a tribute to our agricultural heritage in this town, which is pretty significant, and also to honor the farmers that have been in the past and are still farming. So we would like to request that, that you would allow us to loan them to you, I guess, to put on display somewhere in the building. And then we also would like to, hopefully, depending on where you decide they might go, we would like to also have not a plaque per se, because that sounds like it's metal and very dignified, I guess, but some kind of a description of the farmer that would go next to the farmer statue that is up in the foyer, how that kind of came about, and how it was the chainsaw bear man at the time did that for us as a tribute to the farmers. And at the moment, we have no place for it to go except here. So we would like to be able to put a bit of an explanation by that. So I guess those are our requests. And again, we're happy to work with you. You know, we think we're the organization that does a lot of promotion for the town, and I'd like to think that without us, maybe we wouldn't be doing quite as well as we are. Certainly the farms and wineries are growing. The farms, when we started, the farms were struggling in 2004. It was kind of a bad time for farms at that time, so everybody was anxious to bolster them up, and I think, you know, that has turned around. A little bit credit maybe to Meet Me in Marlborough, some credit to the economy, some credit to, you know, buy local campaigns and that kind of thing. But, you know, the farms are definitely doing a lot better right now. The wineries are growing, as you know. We have like 3, I think, new ones in town in the last couple of years. And that's great. They draw a lot of people in. And so we're, you know, we're kind of going along, and we, as I said, appreciate what support you can give us, and we are happy to support the town in any way we can. So
Do you want to discuss those pictures with the board?
Don't we have some up here, right?
I have, actually, I don't have.
How many you have?
Judy, we had all these pictures here already.
I'm not sure. You have one on display up.
We had every single one of them.
We had them all, they took them
for a
down.
while. Right, Sheila?
Yeah. We had them all up there in display, yeah.
We have
Well, that
sort
I
of,
wasn't aware of.
we had a
We have one of them in the display
Yes,
right
I believe you
now.
have one right now.
And the board of 3 years ago had said we could put one up and alternate it every few months. And that one's never changed in 3 years.
So who's supposed to be alternating it? Us?
Yeah, I don't have the pictures.
so
Well,
could,
I can give you the pictures.
so I would like to, how many pictures are there, Judy?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 6. They're pretty big, though. Well, you know how big the one is.
They're big.
in the
So could
foyer
we
and the
consider, what you really would like to have is all, whatever, 5 or 6
We
displays
would like them all to
somewhere?
be up. I mean, they're, you know, they're honoring, I don't know, they're honoring all your old farmers.
Yes.
Mr. Kent, Mr. Quimby, Paul Forey,
Right.
John Nicklin, Joe Papiglia, Charlie Reed. You know, there's a lot of people that were significant
Right.
in our town.
I won't have a problem with
I
that.
don't have a problem with it.
We all didn't have a problem with it back
No.
then.
You all did or didn't?
Didn't.
Oh, well, I don't know.
So if you
Tell
can get.
me why they're not up then.
Well, I think one of them is, and I think what Scott was saying, the agreement was they would put one up at a time and then rotate it, but I'm suggesting we,
Because we had some pushback, some other groups then, because then they said, well, we want all our pictures up.
well, you
And
know.
then this one said, we want all our pictures up. And this one said, we want all our pictures up.
Well,
And so,
Do you have that many groups that want all their pictures?
yes, we actually do.
More than you think.
Okay.
So the problem, that's why the board had decided at the time to say, okay, limit it to one and alternate it. That's the reason why that came about.
Okay, well,
But
I was
Sheila
not
had
aware of
brought
that.
all of the pictures for us, right? We had them in the hallway for a while. And then we said, okay.
Well, you
So-
do have some historic pictures.
So the
You probably
board
have more than you have.
wouldn't have a problem putting them up for a month, and if we get any pushback, then we have to look
Get any
at it.
pushback, we'll push back.
It is a farming community.
that's
I
what
mean,
we do here.
We put them up for, we'll say a month, and if nobody asks, we'll keep them up for another month, and if anybody asks, then we'll take them down and give the other people a month, and that's just how we'll do it. It'll be a month for each.
So you could bring them in. I think that's what I'm hearing from the board.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
No
And if
problem.
you, and if you were you thinking this, you didn't want to dignify it as a plaque, but the description of the farmer, if you wanted, are you going to provide that? And
Yes,
you would hang that?
yes, we
Yeah,
would
okay.
provide that, yeah.
Okay.
It'll probably be something something printed in a frame, I would say.
Okay.
Nice, do a nice
Um,
font.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We will not make it
We're fine with that.
sloppy.
Sounds,
We will do it.
I just want to point out too that the board does support Meet Me in Marlborough 100%. I think there's a perception that we don't. And I want to point out some things that we do support you with.
Okay, go for
Okay,
it.
one of them is the use of the park for the farmer's market. No charge, no issues, Tom helps out on our, we pay Tom to help out, he helps out. When you do your festival,
crossing guard.
the guys there, 2 days, they're working, no problem, no charge for the park. We have a crossing guard there, pay, no problem, we do it. Jerry helps out with the police, we put it in our budget to cover that. So I just want to make sure you understand that this board does support Meet Me in Marlborough, but we also have to understand that Meet Me in Marlborough is a separate entity from the town of Marlborough.
Oh, yeah.
And we just got to make sure we're on that fine line, right?
But on the other
I
hand,
said, we all support Meet Me in Marlborough.
right.
We know they're like the Commerce Department of the town. I mean, we all understand it.
Yep.
But again, they are a separate entity from the town, and we're gonna support them 100%, no matter what. But I just wanna make sure you understand, there's stuff that we do
I
that does
guess that's
support
true,
Meet Me
yes,
in Marlborough.
Yes, I will definitely concede that.
So,
And we appreciate you coming here, Judy.
Exactly.
And
Thanks for reading.
Well,
we have you on the agenda every month.
Once a month.
yeah, well, it probably won't be me every month.
You could send us an
Unless you
email.
put me on the front of the.
You can send an email.
You can email a report.
I did send Al an email.
Yeah, so then one of us will read
send it to Alan, it'll make Howard read it.
Make it
Because
short.
I do
Make that.
the Milton Hamlin Association, and I do all that. So
Thanks,
They
Sheila.
send me stuff, and I just mention it. So they don't have to come to every meeting.
That sounds good.
Bye-bye,
That
Sheila.
sounds fine. Well, that's what I had intended to have happen until Howard called me tonight and said, can you come?
All right,
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Judy. Appreciate it.
Anything from Recreation Committee?
On recreation, we just had our team set for bocce. We have 18 total teams now, and we're gonna be putting the lights in next, working on that this week. The date for the lights to be up is gonna be Memorial Day weekend. I told them that's when we need them up by, and we'll start the league the following Tuesday of Memorial Day weekend.
Is that more than, you had 16 last year or 18?
We had 15 last year. We had 3 more teams.
All right.
Is there a charge per team?
Yeah, we're doing $50 per team so we can pay for broken bocce balls and we'll go back to the town for anything like that, or anything that goes wrong with the lights. If we have to replace the light or anything after that fact. So we're gonna keep that in a.
Have you tested out the new court since it's been up there?
Not yet, but I want to also do, in the same time, I want to thank Dave Zambito for fixing that up on his own, because when they did this, a lot of the boards came out. He did it on his own time and took care of that himself. He was doing it himself. I was up there with him.
Yeah, he did it.
He's also going to dig the trench for the electric to run out to the bocce court. He said, do that, no problem. And he also, you saw what he did on the wall, the back wall there.
What
So he's,
about, I'm sorry, what about the gutters? Have you guys made a decision on the
got
Yeah,
gutters?
we probably could.
We're gonna
I
see
think
about the
Tom
gutter.
is going to make a recommendation about gutters, and remember we talked about that?
down the road, there's other things you want to get the money from.
Yeah, because I got the
That
guys that are
middle
gonna help put them up, so
Yeah.
just let me know.
Yep.
The middle section where, the electric's going.
Yeah, me and him are gonna do that.
Depends on how Dave does that one side of the wall. If we end up, he might put just perforated pipe and then rock on that side, so when the water comes,
Right.
so when it comes off, it just drains out by itself.
May work.
We may not need it, but
Yeah.
it just depends on how he does that side. He dug it out partially right now.
Well, down the road, the other thing too is that middle section where it's grass. The
Yeah.
electric's not gonna come through there anymore, it's actually coming through the middle of that.
Yeah.
He does suggest that we dig a trench from the actual pavilion and go under and go to that first pole, and that's where it'll be from.
Yeah, we do that.
We're gonna put a couple of receptacles in, that's what he suggested. Also, the other thing is not this year, but hopefully we get some more funds from the league. The middle section between the 2 courts is grass right now, it's gonna be a pain in the neck to take care of. We're looking at either putting gravel, or we might even, if we get cement, whatever we can do. I've been talking to Lane Couture about how much it would cost to do something like that. He may donate that to us too. So we're working on that. So this way we can put benches in the middle.
Yeah.
So you can look on both
That
sides.
makes sense.
2 benches back to back, like 3 sets of them. So you can look onto the court, either side you want to sit. So it's gonna look nice. Anybody's never been up there to look at it, take a look at it. It really looks great. And so it's gonna look good. Yeah.
It looks great.
From Recreation, Al, you wanna talk about this? This is in the book already for this, for the Marlboro?
The
Yeah.
Baseball.
Yeah, baseball camp.
Camp, where the kids in the community, they're looking to move it to the park.
Okay.
They've done that at the high school in the past, but they're looking to move it to the park. They have their insurance. It was run by the camp director. He was okay with that, with the understanding of the bathroom, which they understood they can't use it. So they want to get the kids into the park. I thought it was a,
So you're gonna be up on top?
yeah, they'll be up on top of the two fields, and we thought it was a good idea to start bringing the kids back into the park and staying
My-
at the high school.
My understanding too is that now Marlborough Youth Baseball built a T-ball, they're not gonna be using the park anymore up top?
It looks like they're not, Marlborough Youth Baseball's not using the facility anymore up top. They built themselves a little T-ball field,
Right.
calling it Field for Your Youngs, and they're gonna use that for the T-ball.
Yeah, I was looking at the numbers are down for the regular leagues, I think, so they don't need the fields they needed before.
So bringing that point up, I
Yeah.
talked to you guys all about this already, what happened today, right? About the bleachers?
Right.
Yes,
So if it's okay with the board, like go with Tom tomorrow and we look at what we actually have up there, if there's a possibility for them to use one or two bleachers down, or one
many do we
bleacher
have?
down there. I think we have enough up that we could do this, but I want to make sure Tom's okay with it, because we also, remember, we got soccer.
Yeah, we got soccer.
We got other things going on, we got this going on, it's,
and also we're gonna, down the road, it might be utilized by different
if
organizations.
they're not using it,
Yeah.
again, there's a little discrepancy on, they say they bought two of the bleachers.
I don't know, I was around.
I don't know if that was or did not happen. The
Yeah,
point
we-
is, they gave them to the park. So,
But there's
if it's
also-
all right, I just want to go and inventory what we really have, and if
Okay.
it's possible to even do.
And I think, I've heard some chatter that there's some people talking about starting them off for a softball league too.
Yeah, I saw
They've been
that
trying to start
online.
that for a couple of years.
So that may come to fruition
A men's league,
at
yeah.
some point.
A gentleman put it out there that he wanted to.
So everybody's okay with
Yes.
Marlboro Duke's baseball camp?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's good. That's,
We should
and we'll
utilize
talk
the
to
fields.
Tom tomorrow.
So, Al, emergency?
Nothing on emergency, no.
All right. On the CAC, we're looking into design standards, as the board suggested a couple of weeks ago. On IT committee, Scott, we're looking into why it's so
Yep.
slow, and I think Danny is monitoring
Danny
that.
gave us the report, right?
Yeah.
And then the other issue we're having is this recording right now, right?
Right.
The Nero system we have, it's recording, it's doing everything it's supposed to, but when you go to burn it, it'll freeze like 10 minutes in on the burn, and you only get video.
Yeah.
So it's there. So basically, what we got to do right now is we got to figure out why it's doing that. He thinks it was a software problem.
We bought the software.
Bought the software, it's not the problem. He thinks it might be Windows 7.
Is it an update issue or something?
Well, I think it's a Windows 7 upgrade that happened. It actually happened and caused the problem.
Yeah.
So he's actually thinking we should go to Windows 10. I'm not sure if that's all the problem. The backwards approach to this is you can actually download it to a flash drive with no problem.
Yeah.
And then you take the flash drive and burn it somewhere else. It's just,
Because to switch to Windows 10 could open up a can of
well, we
worms
got to
with
buy
every
another
other-
whole system. We got to buy
Well,
a
every
whole
other system we run with the Windows 10.
Really got to
might
find
be
out what the
together.
problem
Yes.
is.
We got to find out what the problem
Before
is.
you start buying
And Joel's looking into it with Danny, so that's a
They're
problem.
talking lingo that
don't
I
know.
don't really
Yeah, it's stuff I
understand.
don't get, but they get. So in the meantime, we're gonna put it to the flash drive and burn it. And we knew it worked that way because Danielle does that every week. Danielle takes it to a flash drive, she goes upstairs and sends it to our website. So I don't know if everybody knows, but these are on our website. Every one of these meetings are on our website.
Great.
So through YouTube. So it's there.
Okay.
But we're working on it. And BAS system, right, is moving forward.
Yep.
So that's working. So that's IT.
On the train station, still haven't received any go on the 150,000 from Larkin, Senator Larkin. Milton Landing Citizens Committee, Al?
Yeah, we got a couple piles of topsoil down there, we're just waiting to spread, we got them tarped. I know Al, you spoke with Gail and Dave Zambito, I spoke with George Barley regarding the trail coming down, doing some steps, and we just basically said we'd be better off just getting some 6x6, 6x8s, filling them in with gravel, and
Yep.
it's just a matter of getting the manpower there to do it for free. We think I can get people there, it's just gonna be tough this time of the year.
Is it feasible to get the material list?
I'm getting that from Gail.
Okay.
So he's gonna get a materials list so we can use the rest of that money that we have.
Okay.
And
Do we need any dust stone on the trail itself, or is that all
you
good?
probably do, but I don't know who's gonna bucket brigade it down there, because I'm not, at 5 gallon pail.
But we
Down
could,
below, it's fine, I mean,
Yeah.
if, if somebody ever wanted to do it, we could do it. I mean, it's a trail, so I mean, it's a trail. It's
Yeah,
a trail.
right.
It's dirt.
How about railing?
I don't, I talked with a lot of people who use the trail. They're not into the railings.
Okay.
I'm not into the railings. There aren't railings in Minnewaska. There aren't, railings up on Bear Mountain. It's a trail. I mean,
Yeah, it's a pretty steep trail, but.
man, so is Minnewaska's got some pretty big cliffs. So
Well,
Bear
I've done
Mountain's,
Minnewaska, and I've done a bunch of trails.
yeah, Bear
Okay.
Mountain's pretty steep, but it's just,
So you're saying that the railing is probably not going to happen?
railing's probably not gonna happen. And believe it or not, I talked to the people who use the trail and like of every age dynamic. So they're all fine with the trail.
Okay.
They're all fine with it. They said it's a
Okay.
beautiful trail and it's a great trail.
Yep.
And then I
I've been
spoke
out there
with,
more than time, more
I
than
spoke
once.
with JP Noto on the, bringing the soil. The pile's there. They're waiting to get a loader to load it into trucks to get it out of there. So he says as soon as they release it, it's coming. So 'cause he's-
And with that soil comes all the paperwork to say it's clean and...
Yep, because right now, he's got soil that he could be bringing, that's, the guys, again, this is off the Vassar site, it's another site, and he says, I know this, I know it's not gonna get certified.
And in the meantime, Kevin Casey is going to donate all that soil up there by Reservoir Road. And so we should be okay with soil. This is that sandy loons.
Let's see, yeah, but let's see what JP's bringing us before we take, because the sandy loam was what we brought down to the Milton Landing from
Yeah,
up
it
in
might
the
be a
town.
good base, but right, if he's got good stuff.
It sounds like we've got like as much as we need. This sounds like the rock that came out of the
3
big
to
ditch.
6,000 yards?
He said that's no problem.
Okay.
He says that it's a mountain of dirt down there.
Yeah, I'd like to get some dirt for across the train station also for that part when we start doing that.
If JP's got it, we should take it,
Okay.
if it's good stuff. But the sandy loam is what we use down at the landing, and that's why we had to get topsoil, because it doesn't support
Oh,
grass.
yeah, I don't think it's a
Doesn't-
good thing to grow grass.
That was sort
I
of like an
thought,
emergency. we
a
used
good
down
fill.
there. Yeah,
If you had to do something for 1-2 feet,
Yeah.
you got that dirt. Okay.
so that's about it for that.
Marlborough Hamlet Economic Development Committee. I didn't go to the last meeting, I missed it.
Yeah, I mean, there's really two things right out. That's,
Right.
One is, you're
yeah,
working on
I
the,
met with Dave Corrigan.
Yep.
Out there, he says we could do the sign anytime. Showed him what Brooks and Brooks did as far as surveying along the 9W. We know where the property lines are with St. Mary and Tilcon. He asked me basically to do a site plan, so I put a call in for Mrs. Brooks. So she hasn't returned, she's been busy. So
so this is for the
Dave
gateway sign
definitely
on 9W.
go for the sign, for the gateway sign. He said that wouldn't be a problem for permits from the DOT.
Right.
So let's do something, let's do that sign.
And the other thing is,
There you go, Eddie.
is the Greenway grant that we just submitted to, it was an ask of $5,000 to do a conceptual phase one. Basically, what it is to get an okay or approval from the landowners along this proposed walkway from the Falcon down to the river. There's about 6 or 7 landowners, which we'd have to get agreement to,
That's,
Right away.
Howard, is that what you're gonna write a grant for? Is to get the approvals, or is, why, couldn't you just basically just do like a poll, like go and meet the landowner and say, we're thinking about doing this, how would you react to that?
well, that's part of it. I mean, there's six phases to this conceptual phase one, and basically, but I think the biggest thing is to get this agreement from these landowners, and to consult with lawyers on what the options are to these
Yeah,
landowners versus.
but I'm just asking you this, we're gonna write a grant,
We already did, it's been submitted.
all right, so we wrote a grant and it's submitted, what's, in other words,
An application, we didn't get the money yet.
all right, so you put the application in, so obviously there's gonna be a split probably on this grant, or just to give out grant?
Is it a matching?
Is it a
Yeah,
matching
it's
grant?
gonna be $5,000 match.
What maybe I should ask this question about, well, I wasn't at the last 2 meetings, work and business, but wouldn't it have been easier to go to the 6 landowners and say, this is what we're looking to do? How do you feel about it?
We kind of have, informally,
But-
so.
One of them,
But
two of them
more
don't wanna do it,
formally,
you're assuming-
because there's a couple things, and I think it's a great idea for this trail, there's a couple things. If you came to my house and said, we're putting a trail behind the old Latin Town School building, and we're gonna have to put it on your property, how do you feel about it? My answer is gonna be negative. If you came to my house and said, we wrote a grant about a trail going through your property, I'm really gonna be mad, because you didn't ask me to begin with.
Right.
So there would be no you saying, well, let's sit and talk. I'd be like, I don't wanna sit and talk, you guys wrote a grant, and you're asking to come to my property, and you never asked me to come to my
Well, I
property.
think in most cases, the people have been spoken to informally, but there would have to be formal agreements with these folks.
I understand, no, I understand a formal
So
agreement.
I know what Lyle was saying.
I'm totally getting a formal agreement.
That's what all of this is about, to try to get that.
Yeah, but it's just the order of operations to me seems a
I
little
would've talked to
weird.
the people and got it
If you,
Like I said, I think they already have been talked to
You think,
informally.
but
You think.
you're wrong.
Have you got good
Oh, I
response?
am not the guy that has
Who
done
talked to
it.
them?
Mr. Falco, for the most part.
Has he got good response?
I think he feels positive enough to get.
Isn't part of it Dean's property?
Yes, I believe part of it is.
And I know no one's spoken to him, so I just talked to him a few days ago.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
just,
maybe
like I
that's one.
said, I'm just to go ahead and write the grant, you know,
Yeah,
that's great, and I
I understand
understand there's a
what
whole process to it all, but, I mean, it would have been if you lined up the 6 owners. Like I said, I probably would have been negative to the idea to begin with, but if you told me, like, hey, we just wrote a grant, and then we're gonna come through your property trail, I really would be mad.
Part of it is also to develop the plan for the.
Oh, I understand that.
The
Yeah.
trail
I
a
get the
little bit
whole-
further
I
than
thi-
what
I
we
think
have
you
so
have to
far.
really read the grant, it's really,
I understand what he's doing on the ground, what Alan's trying to say.
I
is that-
understand what
yeah,
Alan's
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, if you got 2 people on that drill, they're totally against you putting it there, it's just a waste
So
of
then,
$5,000.
so then that tells us, okay, the trail doesn't go through their property, we'll have to do something else. So that, it's not, you know,
Okay.
it's a difficult process. If we-
Right.
the whole trail probably crosses, if we went up through the village, probably 30 different properties. So it's not an easy process.
I know, and that's good,
So
it's
we're
gonna,
just doing the first phase
I just
from
know,
the river
because
up to the
I
fountain.
watched the rail trails develop, which I think the rail trails are great, but the only negative feedback you get, and I know people who live on a rail trail up in New Paltz, and they're still not happy about it.
Yeah.
All right? But that was there, it was on a right of way from a railroad. This is a lot different, but
Yes, it is
they're not
different.
happy having people walk through their backyard.
Right.
So, at all. I'm just throwing
And you
it
got
out.
property that's not developed, that's not developed yet, and, you know, who wants a trail going right through the property they're trying to develop?
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Hamilton Milton Association Committee?
They had the spring fling, like you mentioned, you attended, I attended, Howard attended. Was a great event. Vivian unfortunately can't be here tonight. Sunday, we also all met. We had a huge turnout for the Hamlet cleanup, and I'm telling you, I think we were done in like 35 minutes. And we went from basically the center to Hamlet, all the way up to Stewart's, down Old 9W, up St. James, around to the church, down Main Street, all the way out to the old CSC Auto, all the way down through Sands Avenue, all the way down to the river on Dock Road, a little bit of Watson, and probably about a good 1-ton garbage or dump truck load of heaping bags of garbage. So it was really a good job, good
Good.
turnout.
Uh,
That's good.
Very well appreciated. We actually, the Democrats signed on for a mile on 9W, and we did from,
I know, that was my chance, and I blew it.
you,
I don't let Democrats, I was
you
driving down that road.
And it was, you know,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of bags there.
They did a
I
nice
don't
job in
understand,
Marlborough,
we
too.
go through this every time, I don't understand why people litter,
Throw
but
stuff,
they
I don't
do.
either.
That's great.
Unfortunate.
Yep,
So we take pride in our community and we clean it up.
thank you.
Transfer Station Review Committee, Howard?
Nothing to report.
No report?
No.
All right, old business, sale of Tomback Building, I think that's ongoing. Municipal parking in the hamlets of Marlborough and Milton, that's ongoing.
Hey, one issue just did come up. A friend of mine called me, actually took me a picture, I meant to send you guys an email. The sign we put down here for municipal parking, which is great, pointed up towards the church. Well, the way it sits, it almost looks like it points towards Joe Manisi's corner lot property. So he had pulled into there for dinner, and the tenants, Manisi's tenants, get really, really upset when people park in their spots, because Stephanie's gets overflow into there. So they reverted to writing notes, which are like informal parking tickets that, you know, have a little bit of humor to them.
It's private property.
Yeah.
The owner of that property wants to have those cars towed, they have to.
Oh, I know that, but what happened was there was just an incident where somebody got mad, but they pointed out to me that that sign that we put up saying, you know, go to, really what we're trying to say is go to the church.
Right.
They assumed it was right here.
Okay.
So they basically just, well, no, because it's you got an entrance
Right.
to that, you got Main Street, but then you have an entrance to Manisse's parking lot.
So how do we mitigate that?
We can move, I don't know, move the sign?
Yeah, I'll put the sign up.
Move the sign up a little bit? I don't know.
You just don't want it too far from the middle.
But-
Yeah, you want to know
'Cause
that
it-
it's down there.
Yeah, because then I went in, I went in and met with Joe and said, are you having this issue? And he says, yeah, I'm having this issue a lot. And it's really making my tenants upset. I don't know how we can do it. Can we put a picture of the church or by church or something like that? Shoot it. I don't know. But that's what's going on. People are coming down and saying, oh, it's a
Gotcha.
parking lot.
We'll try to do something.
So I'm just letting you know.
All right.
That could be an issue.
Let's see.
So Milton Sewer Extension, I sent you a letter from Mr. Dennis Larios, as we discussed the boring were completed in April. We found a setback conflict, sanitary sewer to storm sewer when the boring were being taken, and are negotiating a possible alignment shift with New York State DOT. I had a constructive meeting with Dave Corrigan, PE of New York State DOT, and he's just sent me some record drawings late last week. I expect the changes done this week and sent to him for his blessing. Patty Brooks is preparing an easement description of work on the school property, and I will also have that this week. So it's moving forward, not as fast as we like, but it's moving forward. The Bayside project, it's all in their court, so we're just waiting for that FEIS, design standards for the 9W corridor overlay district. Right in front of us, we have a gentleman that is applying for that. I just suggested to the board that actually our building department, Tom Corcoran, has blessed it. I get a letter, and you know the process through the overlay zone. We'll address that next meeting. I'll have Frank come in, who owns that, and we'll move forward, and then we'll turn it over to the planning board. But he's done his, this is up at Erickson's old building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's done his due diligence. He's just ready to book. He's got all kinds of plans here and stuff like that. And that's the way it's supposed to be done.
The landscaping guy bought that?
No, this is a totally different guy. He lives in Marlborough, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in removing asbestos, I think he is.
Oh, Frank
construction.
Bolton.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Frank, yeah.
We know Frank. Frank's a good guy.
He's
Yep.
been in there, right?
So moving along, hopefully F will be gone by today. Sign more zoning changes, Milton Train Station, grant exterior, I told you we haven't gotten that. LWRP, we just had Mr. Behan do a presentation on that. Route 9W corridor study, we are moving on that, meeting on that. Any new business?
Let's get the old business over.
I would bring up one thing,
Okay.
and Chief's contract is coming up June.
You're in trouble, Chief.
So Chief's in trouble, so I expect an email probably next week or this week of with his contract that we're gonna be looking at.
Okay.
doing.
We should sit down and
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much, me and Jerry already talked about this, and I know I talked to Al about it. Jerry's not asking for much of anything, so.
He's not gonna get much.
He's just looking basically almost for an extension, but a couple little changes, but
Okay.
it's.
Yep.
But
Not a
we all
problem.
appreciate you, Chief.
Yep, good job.
But if we don't get
Okay.
it done, you don't have a correspondence.
I have no correspondence.
No correspondence.
No. Everybody's happy in Marlborough.
Beautiful.
Except for the guy who parked in the wrong spot.
Yeah, except there's people in front of these. But they don't write, so.
Public comments. It's getting late. James, could you come up to the podium, please?
Rush up here, because we're getting tired up here.
Yeah, we're dying up here.
Might be a good idea to tell BFJ about the equipment that we have for the speeds. They might be able to help them out with some information. I don't know if Meet Me in Marlborough put those farmer pictures on the web, but maybe they could do that. We could have a link from our site to those pictures. They could put a whole big description in there. The final thing that I'd like to say is the board's been working a long time on the sign ordinance. And I hope that when it comes to a vote, that you will all vote together for that sign ordinance. And if there's some reason that you don't want to vote for it, I hope you'll make it very clear to the other board members, and they will think about making some corrections. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
So we're going to
Resolutions.
the resolutions.
Go out.
Here we go.
Nice short one,
Yeah, I could read that. Resolution 58, to authorize the town of Marlborough to enter into intermunicipal agreements with the town of Lloyd, the town of Esopus, and town of Platico. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following: be it resolved that the town board of town of Marlborough hereby authorize the town of Marlborough to sign the attached intermunicipal agreements. And hopefully, did you see the agreements?
What they've been doing anyway.
Yeah, but it makes it like formal now, you know, and Gail looked at it, he thought it was a good idea. It came out of the supervisors meeting up in Kingston, so everybody thought it was a good idea. Colleen, can you pull the board?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think I'm reading all that.
I read it.
I'm saying, I don't think he's gonna read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Gotta get to the end of this.
That's a
You're not gonna read that all.
they do one for every single.
We don't have
Yeah, I
a,
had to do one for everyone because you have to have each one signed with their clerk, and Colleen knows. Resolution 59, to adopt local law 5 to amend provisions in Chapter 155 zoning related to signs. Supervisor Lanzetta proposes the following: whereas a local law was introduced entitled
that's
Local
great.
Law Number 5 of
Should read the,
2017, a local law of the town of Marlborough, Ulster County, New York, to amend provisions in Chapter 155 zoning related to signs. And whereas a public hearing in relation to said local law was held on April 24, 2017 at 7 p.m. prevailing time, and whereas notice of said public hearing was given pursuant to the terms and provisions of the municipal home rule law of the state of New York, and whereas said local law as corrected has been on the desk of the members of the town board of the town of Marlborough for at least 7 days exclusive of Sunday. Now therefore be resolved that the following local law is hereby enacted. And the law we've seen for quite a bit of time. Let me just read something that when I talked to Ron to tell him that the Ulster County Planning Board wrote a letter, and it's a letter of recommendation, and actually he says they don't hand these out very often, and the Ulster County Planning Board would like to congratulate the town of Marlborough on its proposed amendments with respect to signage. A great deal of thought and work has gone into this development. The result covers a wide variety of types of signage, established practice for removing undesirable signage, improves the efficiency of the review process for in-kind signage changes as part of the signage master plan, and conforms to the best management practice with respect to the design guidelines, and is consistent with the policies of the Ulster County Planning Board. And I don't know what to say about that. That's just great.
So Mark, did you get all of that?
That's a miracle.
It's the first time that's
Give Mark
happened.
that letter, publish it. Publish it.
So I'd like to publicly thank Tom for all his time in, I don't know how long, how many years he's been working on this. How many years?
12 years, 10 years.
We started it back
10 years.
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
You're right.
So it takes us about 10 years to get things done, Eddie, so.
That's why I keep asking you to move along.
And Scott did an awful lot of work on this too,
Yep.
to nail
Everybody
it down,
did.
so.
And me now, you worked it all out, right?
Yeah, we worked it out,
We
yep.
didn't even get in a fist fight upstairs.
Yep.
So,
No, it was good. It worked out good.
so maybe
Thank
this will
you,
be a
gentlemen.
model
That's
for
a
the
great
rest of
job.
the.
And Al, we're giving kudos. You gotta give kudos. You started this 10
10
years
years ago.
I started
and you
with
stuck with it.
George and Tom.
Woof.
And Lisa Biggins. I got to give her credit.
Yep.
And
Yep.
James was on that committee, right?
Yeah,
So there you go, James can thank you.
James did a lot of input.
So thank you.
Thank you.
We finally got it.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Next one, you just might do the last section.
So the secret is a negative declaration and a notice of determination of non-significance. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. Let's just go to the resolution was voted upon with all councilmen voting as follows. Colleen? Yes.
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 Alan, can I have a motion to take that off of old business?
I'll make a motion to take sign law off old business.
I'll second it.
Of course,
All in
next
favor?
month, we'll add something else.
This is the lowest it's ever been.
Ed, can I have a motion, please?
A motion to adjourn?
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'd love to do that. Motion for adjournment.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's the first time I didn't get anything from,
Are you part of this?
yeah.